Hello, this is the luckiest maths teacher in the world. As part of our section on earning money, we're looking at bonuses and allowances. So that's where you earn something in addition to your salary. You know, when you're a teenager, you might get a laundry allowance because you're told to wear a uniform or something like that. So we're just going to learn how to calculate bonuses and allowances. But don't worry, it's really easy. It's all just simple applications of either percentages or arithmetic. So let's look at an example that we might do. So this is the kind of question that we might be doing. So we've got this guy named Nathan. So he has a base salary of $91,000. He gets a meal allowance of $12.20 per day, but he gets an extra $15 an hour every time he's a supervisor. So we're going to calculate his fortnightly pay. So let's just add up each of these things methodically. So first off, we'll look at his base salary. So he receives $91,000 per year. Now, if I want to turn that into a fortnightly pay, I need to divide by 26 because there are 26 fortnights in a year. And that just equals $3,500. So he gets a base salary of $3,500 every fortnight. Now, it also says that he works 6 days a week and gets an allowance of $12.20 per day for meals. So he'd only get that meal allowance on the days he was working. It would be awesome if your work paid for your meals when you weren't at work, but unfortunately it doesn't work like that. So his meal allowance, so I just put MA for meal allowance, will be 6 times $12.20. Easy as, you can just put it in your calculator. He gets an extra $73.20 from a meal allowance. Now the last part, the supervisor allowance, I'll just put SUP for that. So he gets $15 per hour for 48 hours, and that is an extra $720. Now, it's important that we understand that both of these are in weeks. So if I want to calculate his fortnightly pay, he gets $3,500 as a base salary, and then he gets 2 lots of the $73.20 because he got that per week, and then he gets 2 lots of the $720 supervisor allowance because that was also weekly. So we just put that into our calculator, and he gets $5,086.40. So that was just simple arithmetic, just taking each component one by one and then adding them all together. Let's look at another example, this one involving percentages and holiday loading. So please pause the video and copy down if you need. So this just tells you what holiday or leave loading actually is. So in Australia, most people get 4 weeks of annual leave a year. So 4 weeks of holiday where they're actually paid. But normally when they take their leave, they get an additional 17.5% pay. So whatever their pay is, added 17.5%. It's, I guess, a little bit like in US, you see on the TV shows they talk about a Christmas bonus or whatever. So this is a bit of a bonus towards your pay. So let's look at an example. So this is the kind of question that we might do. So we're told Michael earns $68,450 per year, and we've got to calculate how much he will be paid when he takes his holidays. So firstly, we need to figure out how much he gets normally in a 4-week period. So can we just make sure that we understand that each month, except for February, has 30 or 31 days. So 4 weeks is not actually exactly equal to 1 month. So we can't just divide the number here, the 68,450, we can't just divide it by 12. We can't just go that divided by 12 because 4 weeks is not exactly a month. What we do though is we figure out how much he earns in 4 weeks by figuring out how much he earns in 1 week and then multiplying that by 4. So what we'll do is we'll take his yearly salary and we'll divide it by 52. That's how much he earns in 1 week. So in 4 weeks, he'll earn that times by 4. So if I work this out to the nearest cent, it's $5,265 $4,138. Now, that's just what he gets in a normal 4-week period, but if he's taking his annual leave, I need to increase that by 17.5%. Now, hopefully you remember the way I do that is I just take the number and times by 1 plus 17.5 over 100. So this was his normal pay for 4 weeks, and this will be the pay when we've increased it by 17.5% for the annual loading. And so if I put that on my calculator, I get $6,186.83. And I'll make sure I put my dollar sign there. So that's how much he will be paid over the 4 weeks. We're not looking at, tax in this. So this is what he'd be paid before tax, but you don't need to know how much he'd be paid after tax. All right, one more type of example that I'll go through. So again, please pause and copy down if you need it. Okay, so the last thing we'll look at are government allowances. So that's where the government gives you money. So sometimes they give it to people who are unemployed or disabled or people who are studying full-time. And so this table that I've put up here is just information I got from the Centrelink website about youth allowance, and that's what they pay to people who are studying full-time, like while they're at uni or whatever. So the table's split into 2 columns. So the first, your circumstances. So that is about, whether you have a kid, single, how old you are, etc. That's eligibility. It's showing the criteria you need to meet to get the payment. And the maximum fortnightly payment is just how much you can get paid. Now that can reduce, and we'll look at that in a second. So for questions involving this, you just have to follow a table, and it's pretty simple. So let's look at an example. So we've got this person, Jack, 24, studies full-time in a couple with no children, and we're going to use the table to figure out how much he is paid per fortnight. So this table, as I said, is youth allowance for people who study full-time. So obviously 24 means he's over 18 and he's in a couple, no children, so he is in this one here. That's his level of payment, so the answer is just he will get $437.20 per fortnight. Now, what often happens with these government allowances is you're only allowed to earn a certain amount of money from like a part-time job before your payment reduces. That's why it says it's the maximum fortnightly payment. And of course, the reason for that is so we don't have people who are earning heaps of money getting money from the government also. So let's look at an example involving this. Okay, so let's say that a person can earn $640 a fortnight and then their payment is reduced. So again, that's why it says maximum fortnightly payment there. So for every dollar they earn over $640, their payment's reduced by 30 cents. So let's figure out how much Jack would get from the government if he earns $800 per fortnight. So the reason they have this thing is so the reason that they say your payment is reduced by 30 cents for each dollar is if they just said if you earn over $640 you don't get the payment, then people who earn like $600, they would be getting, the full payment, $437, but then someone earning, $650 would get nothing. And they'd be, very much disadvantaged by that. So that's why they reduce your payment by a certain amount for each dollar you earn over, in this case, $640. So, of course, Jack earns $160 over, because 800 minus 640 equals 160. So his payment is going to be reduced by 30 cents for each of those $160. So that's exactly the same as saying 30% of $160. And of course, you know how to do that. 30 over 100 times 160 is $48. So his payment's going to be reduced by $48. So the total he'll receive each fortnight is $437.20 minus the $48. So that would just give you $389.20 per fortnight. And then we're done. Hope you've enjoyed the video. This has been the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Have a great day.